Hey, Nick.
Hey, Chase.
It's that time again.
What time is it?
Time for
Fuck this place! Yeah, no,
They don't want me to bother them, but that's partly why I wanted to bother them. Give them a little bit of adversity that day, you know?
Absolutely. No, I remember as a kid being really mad. People asked me what was on my shirt. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
it's a band.
Yeah.
You don't fucking know, you know?
Dude,
It's
I was
like
thinking,
you wore a shirt with like a rabbit that's like lost a head, you know, and there's like a tornado under it, and someone's like, "Yeah, what's that shirt?" And you're like, "How dare you ask me what this shirt is?"
I've been like kind of working on this bit lately about how like I find out that I'm old. I don't feel I'm old, but then I find out later on, like just like moments like I told some kids to knock it off when I saw them, which is a very old sounding thing. But like what I'm learning now is like all the things I was wrong about. Like to your point, Chase, like I think all the time, like I should go back and apologize to my Uncle Harry about the bands I liked. Like just the conversation.
He was right. They sucked.
He was right. Yeah. I don't know what I was not listening to Korn just several years later. I don't know why I insisted that was going to go on forever.
Well, we should introduce the podcast. Welcome to Fuck This Place, a podcast about jobs with Chase and Nick. My name is Chase.
My name is Nick, and with us today, another fantastic guest. She is an actress. She gave me an intro that I want to go over, but I just want to say first, she's one of the actresses in a project that I have produced myself, and I am so very appreciative of her being here and doing that. So I just wanted to say that first and foremost.
That's the Nick intro.
That's the Nick intro. The official intro for the show is she's an actress who's interested in exploring other aspects of production, and also was a member of the U.S. national team for the Winter Olympic sport of skeleton.
Skeleton. I'm interrupting the intro. Sorry.
8 years and retired at the end of 2018.
Retired.
You retired? No, you retired.
26.
You stopped playing. Well, before we go any further, what is skeleton?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I thought it was a typo at first, and I had to Google it, and then
I don't blame you. It's a very, very obscure sport. Are you guys familiar with a bobsled or luge?
Yeah, absolutely. I've seen Cool Runnings.
Jamaican team.
Yeah. Obviously, Cool Runnings. That's like the pitch that we all give because it's like the NWA.
Yeah, that's the beginning. Yeah,
it's the beginning. But so skeleton's on the same track, like a bobsled track.
Okay.
But we are only one person, and we sprint, pushing our sled kind of like in a weird upside down position, like hunched over position. Kind of like the start of a sprint when you're like coming out of the blocks in track.
Sure. But you're on the sled thing. Yeah.
Yes, you're holding your sled, and then you do you kind of like do the worm onto it, and then you get yourself in place. You're like extreme planking, and you steer your way down at speeds up to 98 miles per hour.
That's very fast.
It's very fast.
Too fast for people, I would actually
Sometimes
say.
It's so fast it doesn't even feel fast.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, you crossed that barrier.
And then the one time I was pushing, like I think the fastest I ever went, I remember feeling like everything was so slow. I was like, oh my God, I can see everything. I think I was like in a, flow state, whatever.
Dude, hell
yeah. And then I remember thinking like, oh my God, if I breathe right now, I could fucking die. Like I remember thinking like this could go so wrong so quickly, like fucking get back into it.
Yeah.
But anyways,
that's cool.
It's very fun. Can be sketchy.
Yeah, for
what
sure.
Do you mean? What do you mean? Like you meet weirdos or what?
No, well, there's weirdos everywhere. But
a lot of dive bar culture.
Yeah.
People mistake it for like Nightmare Before Christmas fan stuff.
Yeah,
I mean, for the
a lot of weird misconceptions, which is totally understandable.
Got it. Huge during the My Chemical Romance Black Parade years.
Oh man,
that's where the misconceptions really came in.
Oh my God, I love My Chemical Romance.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that album's fantastic.
They endured 100%. Korn, not so good.
I have a shirt. I should have worn their shirt.
Oh yeah, that'd have been cool.
Any My Chemical Romance shirt is going to get a question from an uncle for sure. Of like, what do you got going on there, pal?
Who's Helena?
Yeah. Why does this person look dead but alive?
So I never wore them in high school because I was a jock and I was scared of what everyone was going to think of me. And then when I left high school, I'm like, fuck that. I'm wearing My Chemical Romance shirts. I'm going all in. I'm
doubling back on the merch. But before that, you're doing bicep curls with the sled.
Well,
that's
not
wild.
in high school, but yeah.
Sure. Yeah, that's wild. All right. Well, I'm just glad that we took that side track or the sled track because now we've learned about a new Olympic sport to care about at the next Olympic Games.
Yeah. I'm all about skeleton next time.
Yeah.
Coming up, my
Also,
friends will be competing in this winter.
Right, because it's this winter, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Man, time flies.
Do you miss it?
Time does fly.
Yeah. Do you miss it?
I do. I do. I mean, I left it like I wasn't like I could have kept going and probably this would have been my Olympic cycle. Like I mean, you never know.
You never know
what's going to happen, and like nothing's ever in the bag. But you know, it's a grind every year. But I was really like my trajectory was really leading to this Olympic Games. But I just there was a lot of things that led me to stop.
For sure.
So, but
there's lots of good reasons to stop Olympic sports. You know, they don't pay, for instance.
Exactly.
At all. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. I mean, you know, people retire from like, you know, being a professional dancer at 23, you know, so like sometimes you got to pull the fucking plug. And that's what this podcast is actually all about. Wow. I did not plan that. I am proud of it though. Just for the record. So Gracie, we should get into our first segment that we do on every podcast. It's actually a segment we call Fuck This Place ? Where we decide if it would work somewhere or not, or retire from it, I guess. So you're not from Jacksonville, Florida, but you did spend some formative years there. Is that correct?
Yes.
Got it. So we did hone in on Jacksonville Craigslist. And so we've pulled up 3 Jacksonville Craigslist posts, and I would say each one of them they're all doozies in their own way, I think. What I'm going to do is I'm going to read the title to all 3. You're going to pick one out of those titles. You'll pick one that's just like, absolutely not. We're not going to look at that. Just like you're browsing Craigslist. And the other 2 we'll look at inside, like if we would fuck this place or if we would, you know, try and stick it out. That make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So title number 1 is Fun Bingo Collar Needed. Title number 2 is We Pay You Up to $700 to Replace Your Windshield. Feels extra Jacksonville to me for some reason. And post number 3 is Craft Type Person to Make Cat Toys from Home. And then it says Project RFR, which I do not know what that means. So which one is a...
For real?
I think it would be real for real is because RFR, but yeah.
Okay.
So which one is a definite no? Bingo collar, the $700 replace your windshield, but they will pay you though. Or because we don't even know what the other ones are paying, by the way. I'm not trying to advocate for the windshield. I'm just saying. Or is the making cat toys from home completely out? Which one is an automatic fuck this place?
It's really between the windshield and the cat toys. Because you know, the windshield. So what? Like I'm replacing the windshields, or I'm replacing my own windshield.
We won't know until we
no idea.
And I get quick $700.
Could be. That's the ultimate question.
That one sounds stupid, so I'm just gonna
forget that. One. Get away from my car, right? I don't want anyone in my car.
It's stupid, is what that is.
I mean, it sounds like it's the $700 is it.
That might be it. That might be the end of the line.
Yeah, like their website's gone. Like you in the building, like you never see any of them.
Yeah, they never existed again. Okay, well then let's just jump straight into Fun Bingo Collar Needed. This is a pretty short post. There's no photos or anything. There's just a little bit of text, and the text begins and it says, "We are looking for someone to call bingo on Tuesday nights from 6:30 to 9. $20 an hour and a free meal." Okay, that's a bit of a bonus. Then it continues, "Must have big personality." It says, "Folks don't want a boring bingo caller. They don't want it." Nobody wants that. I get it. And then it says, "Call to set up interview with Angela." And that's the post. The compensation box does reiterate $20 per hour plus meal. And that's the post.
I know where that is too.
Oh, you do? You know where in Jacksonville this is?
Do you know Angela?
Well, you could have run into her.
Hey, I know some Angelas from high school. Maybe that's who.
That could be her.
Now she's doing that. Yeah,
for sure.
It'd be wild if you got into like the Olympics and she got into bingo, but just like the same level of intensity.
Honestly, hers is better because she's actually doing something for someone else. She's bringing joy to old people.
Well, hold on a second. The Olympics bring a lot of joy to old people, I think.
Oh, this is
just
true.
For the record, they do. They're the only people who watch it, I think. Yeah. I mean, to some degree. I'm just saying, I know a lot of boomers that are like, boy, we just love the Summer Olympics. The swimming, and it's like, yeah, no, the swimming, there's a lot of it. They do that a lot in the summer. So yeah, I do appreciate this person really hammering home the personality style of the bingo caller. You can't phone it in. You do not want to be boring. I actually can't say that I would say fuck this place right away.
Me neither.
Yeah, me neither. Except, yeah, I do, because I don't. Because like we've had trivia on here before, and I don't think it's going to be as bad as trivia. But
same, I agree.
This is like a thing where there's no way that there's not a huge, at least a small contingency in this huge crowd of bingo people that are super serious about bingo.
Oh no, yeah, they suck for sure.
They get real mad. However,
I would like to counter. Now, I feel the same way about trivia night. Do not want to do it because I don't want to host it because people get too serious. But in this case, you're stronger than pretty much everybody physically. I mean,
yeah. Well, I'm not worried about trivia night people beating me up.
Oh, I'm not. I am. I'm talking about bingo night. Bingo night is going to be old people, and if they got a problem,
either one, trivia, bingo, I'll fight any one of them. I'm not saying I'll beat them all. But I wouldn't initially, just knowing that's the only thing I know about them, I wouldn't be afraid of them.
Okay.
But, I just feel like I'm not afraid of getting beat up by an old person, but I do not like getting yelled at by them because I feel like between every word they say, their lips like quiver a little bit.
Yeah, they're very hoarse.
They're like, like it's like, so I don't want to see that because it's scary and it both bums and grosses me out at the same time. So I don't want to do that.
Yeah. I'm still in a little bit in the sense that I'm not saying I would take this job now, but I think there's certainly a scenario where I'd be like, you know what, $20 an hour. I mean, it's 2.5 hours. So it's not nothing, right. And it's 6:30 to 9. So it's unlikely to interfere with other stuff. And it's only Tuesday nights. So like it's some money. And this is to me, the clincher. There is a free meal. It's going to be the worst meal you've ever had.
Yeah. What do you think it's going to be?
Gravy. It's going to be.
I was going to say cornbread.
Okay. We all have very different ideas. We all have very different ideas about what old people eat. But I think that we're all right. Soup for sure. Gracie. Mm-hmm. Yes. Again, I think gravy's going to be on it. Whether it's on the cornbread or on the soup.
Right.
It's, it's cornbread with gravy and soup. I'm just saying that the fact that they're willing to feed you is like a little bit of something. So I think I would get suckered into this thinking there was more to it, and there wouldn't be more to it. And it would also bum me out. But then I get really attached to the people, I just feel sad, about me leaving these people, and I'd stick it out for too long. That's what I think what would happen to me. Gracie, what are your thoughts?
That same thing would happen to me. But the thing about me is that I actually really enjoy spending time with old people.
Okay.
Oh,
I really enjoy it. Like every time whoever I'm with gets so annoyed with me when we're out in public because like I will find an old person and I will speak to them.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I just need you seek
to
them
know
out.
About I want to know about their lives. And I also just think like, what if I'm the first person they talk to today and they just want to they just want to fucking say something about their lives or themselves or whatever. I love it.
So it happens. This happens frequently to you. You.
It does. I seek old people out. I love
okay. That. So last time you saw us, or a semi-recent time, like what happened? I mean, were you like, tell me about the war?
Oh my God. Well, no, I just say hi. How are you?
Sure.
It's organic. I'm not like going up to scare them like they think they're about to get kidnapped.
Yeah, like, hey, nice sweater, get in my van.
Yeah. Grabbing him by the collar.
But I was actually walking in the neighborhood last week, and there was this super sweet old man, and I'd seen him walking a bunch almost every night. So I was like, okay, tonight's the night I'm going to say hi to him.
Okay, got it.
And so I do, and he's telling me, and also I want to hopefully I live for a long time, and I want to know the people who look like they're doing really well, what are you doing? And he walks every night.
Oh yeah.
And he's keeps his body up. So he was telling me about that. Mm-hmm. And then he was a film editor when they still did they had to use
they
glue.
Physically edit it. Yeah.
I was like fascinated by what he was telling me.
That's amazing.
That was
amazing.
last time I spoke to an old person.
Well, that sounds great. Sounds like a good time.
So when I heard this, the fun bingo caller, I was like, fuck yeah, sign me up.
Yeah, you have an excuse and they're all going to get to know you. So it's just like afterwards, we're having story time. Let's go. Tell me about the olden times.
Exactly.
I think because the main old person I talk to is my dad, I'm just kind of like,
you're biased.
Yeah, I can't do this every person I meet. I can't have this kind of conversation every time I see an old guy.
I can't have an old person ask me, when are you going to get serious about your life? Every time I speak to him.
Yeah. An old person asking me about like, have you watched The Sopranos yet or not? Just always. What weirds me out, and then we can move past this one. What weirds me out, especially though, that I think it's going to be not a hostile environment, but a rowdy one, is that folks don't want a boring bingo caller line.
That's right. Yeah.
There's 100%. I think you're getting heckled.
Yeah.
I think you're getting old person heckled.
Yeah.
And
Maurice is coming in just like, next.
Yeah. It's like that big hook that they use to pull you off stage. You know?
Oh yeah, they still have it because it's the old times.
But it's just the guy's cane.
It's just that one guy's cane. Yeah, it's Maurice again. He needs to sit down. Yeah. People are for sure going to escape while you're playing bingo. So Anyway,
I think we're splitting the difference. I mean,
I think we're fuck this place. Yeah. I'm literally split in half.
I'm all the way out.
There is a depressing element to it for sure, though, because people you're gonna be like, oh, where's Gertrude?
Dude, Gertrude's long gone.
Gertrude, she gone.
Yeah, she gone. She hung herself.
Oh,
but like, what if that was it? What if that was the twist? Is that she didn't even die of old age? She just actually had a tremendous amount of upper body strength.
He was on a jungle gym.
So
Gertrude was all shoulders. I'll tell you, she was all shoulders.
He was on a jungle gym. She had to climb up there to get it started. Okay, so post number 2. Speaking of old people and scary things, is craft type person to make cat toys from home. Project RFR, and there is a significant more amount of text here. So we're gonna dive in. The text begins: "This is an independent contractor position. You are not an employee, and there are no benefits." Just already yelling at me. Don't appreciate that. To make cat toys in the comfort of your own home. Okay, we're dialing it back. We are an all-female company, so if you are a guy, please do not apply. Fuck you.
I'll just get the fuck out of here, I guess.
I mean,
women first.
Absolutely. We're a real girl boss company here. Make as many or as little as you want. Actually, the sky's the limit.
Like she just found that out.
Did you know that you could work for me forever? Do you know you could do Adderall and make these for hours upon hours? But we do expect a minimum of 200 toys a week to meet our customers' needs. So really not as many or as little as you want.
Not the 7 I was thinking about. So.
I guess maybe that minimum is organizationally, not like for you. But anyway, it says you will be paid $40 cash for each 50 toys you complete. That's 80 cents a toy. 80 cents each toy.
But only at the 50 mark.
But only at the 50 mark. Yeah, I think if you make 49, they ain't paying you for shit.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
So the least you should make is $160 each week, which is jack fucking shit. Like, taking you back to the nursing home, $200 by 80 cents equals 160. Oh, they do. So again, they started with make as many or as little as you want, and then they immediately drilled down on some hard numbers.
No clear expectations.
They could have just said, make these many.
Yeah, right? Exactly.
Okay. We supply you with all materials and supplies. I fucking hope so. There's no cost to you of any kind ever. Well, good. All you have to do is make toys. We are looking for people who like doing craft work, have full use of their hands. That seems mean to say that.
Really, yeah, that seems...
Because you don't know that.
Shitty. Yeah.
You don't know what my hands can or can't do, motherfucker.
Yeah, let me stop you at the door. Let me count your fingers before I let you in there.
Yeah, that's just mean. That's mean is what that is. And are good with a hot glue gun or can learn quickly. Seems to me like you're going to lose full use of your hands if you're going to use hot glue guns that long.
Also, I love the idea of someone who's not good with a hot glue gun, but very confident that they can learn quickly.
Yeah, I'm pretty bad.
Yeah.
But I'm really confident that I can hone this down.
I can turn this around.
Our top producers earn $500 to $1,000 a week in cash, and that is not; those aren't very good numbers.
And it feels like you have to bust ass to get that.
Yeah. Although I guess 1,000.
But anyway. In Florida, that goes a lot further.
Go on.
Florida is a lot
because it's cheaper. Sure.
Yeah, no state income tax.
You're right. That's true. No, if you made 1,000 a week in cash, that's $50K a year. No, you're right. You're right. The fact that we're crossing the $30K line in a year, in a place where the living, costs are lower. Yeah, no, you're right. I actually let me backpedal there. That's a good amount of cash if you can make 1,000, but they say their top producers earn 500 to 1,000, right? Yeah. There's a big difference between 500 and 1,000. It's literally double.
For sure.
It's not 850 to 1,000. It's 500 to 1,000. So anyway, our typical craftsmen earn 200 to 300. Okay, so we are stepping back with each sentence. You can earn more or less. Mm-hmm. Yes, that's true. It all depends on how fast you work and the amount of time and effort you want to put into it. If this sounds right for you, please reply to this ad with the following information. Note, you cannot have cigarette smokers in your home and make our toys! ! They're being nice about that. They want your name, your cell phone number, email, your zip code. Tell us a little bit about yourself and why you want to be considered. If we are interested, we will invite you for a 2-hour live, and it says live in quotation marks, so it's not live, training class. We do not pay you for training! ! Mm-hmm. In Mandarin, where you will make actual product. Okay, so now we are starting to really drill down on who they're trying to find. Although, why isn't all of this in Mandarin? Do not know. You will leave with a beginner's kit containing step-by-step instructions, the supplies and materials to make 25 toys, and a sample toy for you to refer to when working at home. We give you everything you need to be successful and make money. We've been making cat toys for over 30 years and distribute them to pet stores all over the country. My name is Denise, and I'm the owner.
You could have maybe started with that sentence.
I mean, I am surprised they were at a mature business. 30 years? That's a long time. Okay, and then Denise continues. I look forward to hearing from you shortly. P.S. You can view a brief YouTube video to get the idea of how to make our cat toy at YouTube link. Please be aware that you'll be working with fur, and you are likely to get some or a lot of fur, depending on how you work, flying around your workspace. And that's the post.
Do you think Denise has run into a lot of people who didn't have two hands over the course of 30 years? Where she was like,
yeah, no,
it's going in the post. It's going in the post. Now I'm sick of this.
Yeah. I'm sick of this partial hand bull crap.
Sick of this hook business that keeps coming.
Should we take we're going to take a quick look at this video. We won't play the sound or anything. Oh
my gosh. So that's for you. Gracie's an old person.
Oh no.
Okay.
Okay. Before we hit play,
like a happy old person.
Yeah. I was gonna say before we hit play, is this person here against her will?
Denise is holding a gun to her back.
Right. She's forcing her to wear that cat shirt.
I don't know.
Dude. Okay, look. I'm not saying she looks like an 80s bad guy pro wrestling manager, but
yeah, this person. Okay, so let's describe for our listeners. We have an old lady, but she has a real frown on her, and she's wearing a cat shirt, is what I would call it, and it's not a cat shirt like you're thinking, with like a central cat, right, with like emblazoned, waiting for the weekend or something on the top. It's I'd say it's a more artful cat. I would say it's more modern even, because it has kind of just, it's like a print of cats, but the cats are clearly big enough that, we got two Siamese cats on this long sleeve shirt. Mm-hmm. And then the person
she's showing us her hands. I'll tell you that. She's got two hands, all fingers accounted for.
Dead in the eyes too.
Yeah, fucking looking at us hard.
Right down the barrel of this camera. And she's also holding what looks to me like an animal pelt of sorts. Like this is
I
for
thought
sure
she was being
real
buried
fur.
by quilts.
She's at a table. So yeah, what she has is this is a table with a pumpkin print.
Oh, I thought that was
a very dark turn. Why is there look like there's fur? Like, yeah, why are there pelts? I was imagining cat toys of like knit.
No, nay. I don't know, but I thought it was me knit too. But it said at the very end here again, we're slipping a lot of information at the end. 30 years we've been running. Mm-hmm. Denise is the person, and then there's gonna be fur flying around their workplace, and of course we could assume, that's fake fur. No, I think these are maybe other cats,
Right. So we think, do we start before we hit play? And I don't want to go through all 4 minutes of this.
Absolutely not.
Do we think this is Denise or possibly a hostage? Who do we?
Either way, they're not happy about it. I don't get the sense that Denise is a happy person from this post, considering she's mad about our hands.
Dude, and she don't want anything to do with me.
And it's clear that she's been taking advantage of people for 30 years. Anyway, so we're just going to quickly press play, and we may or may I don't know if you guys going to hear this audio. Let me make sure if I have my settings correct.
I hope she has a thick Southern accent.
She has to. I don't. It seems to me like that's.
I hope she opens up with spitting at the camera, because that's what it looks like she's about to do.
She may be mouthing "Help me."
Okay, here we go.
This is the famous Virginia Brown. And we're going to go ahead and demonstrate.
Pause it, Chase. Pause it.
Virginia Brown.
This immediately feels scary, because it's like, this is immediately like Denise is off camera telling us who this scared woman is.
Yeah.
And being like, she's about to be like, this is what Denise or Virginia, what's it, Virginia Woolf? What's her name? Like
Virginia Brown.
Yeah, we're going to
let the video play as we're
evidence.
This is what I imagined, honestly.
Yeah.
A younger person kind of taking advantage, gearing it towards older people in their spare time, wanting like pocket money.
Are those garbage bags behind Virginia?
I think honestly that's just I think
that's garbage bags.
I don't think it's garbage. Well, there's a panel of sorts meant to conceal things, which could be garbage bags. Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah, for sure. So let's just jump to the middle, somewhere, and see if we get a little progress here. Oh, we got a. Let's just get.
Virginia will go ahead and explain the placing of the head.
After you do that, now I measure.
We got a full thumb over the camera there. It looks like we have an almost identified. Let's get to the end and see if we have a partially constructed toy of sorts. Oh, I think we're getting some sort of mouse looking thing.
Yeah, so you make little mice.
Does he have any questions?
There's going to be questions, I'm sure, and it's practice. And you won't find a better.
This is dark, you guys.
Dude, this is kind of fucking weird, dude.
Man, I feel bad.
Dude, those
are
garbage bags, Chase. Those are look.
Those are garbage bags. Yeah, she's just in
there's
a warehouse or something.
There's fucking dead people who like worn their hands down to the nubs. They're no longer useful,
and they just throw them in the garbage bags.
Yeah, and just there. Okay, but for the people listening who didn't watch, there was a moment that kind of shocked all three of us, where like Virginia's looking down, and then her eyes snap up so hard, like. And it super scared us. What that was.
Yeah.
Oh man,
it's a moment.
Dude, this is like true crimes.
I'm not here to hate on Virginia's life, because Virginia is here because she needs to be. I'm terrified of Denise by now. This is a bad situation. This person. Okay, and also this is not a good-looking cat toy.
No, it is.
This is just a very regular cat toy.
Terrible.
It's just, it doesn't look like a mouse in any way, shape, or form. I mean, it's pretty much just I think what it is that the sell is that it's animal fur. And I would guess a cat goes like bazinga,
Yeah.
The
toy looks like a mouse wearing a mask it would wear to rob a bank.
Yeah, for sure. This is like the dead presidents of masks. And this is the Ronald Reagan version. And it just joined the gang, and they're like, why does your mask look so weird? So yeah, it just look like a mask. So yeah, very bad. I have the distinct feeling this person is really taking advantage of a lot of people. And you've been doing this for 30 years.
Yeah, dude. How many, especially geared towards old people, how many old people you think died on her watch? I might be conflating that with the bingo thing. These might not have all been old people.
Yeah,
but
it could be. But Virginia doesn't help her. The case
Virginia
here
is fucking old.
Yeah.
She's old as shit.
And it's really like they definitely, I would like to retract also earlier when I was saying, oh, that goes a long way. I don't want you guys thinking by any means was I saying like, oh yeah, that's a fair amount of money.
I support that statement that it could be.
But also like just because these people are maybe older and don't have much else to do, so they're kind of looking for maybe a hobby that makes them some extra pocket. Doesn't mean they should be ripped off.
Yeah, this got carpal tunnel written all over it. That's for sure.
The way she was like Virginia, look at me. You know, like it was like remember that in The Dark Knight, the Joker, look at me. Like makes that guy look at him. Remember?
Yeah, you're right. We never see Denise. She's all off camera, nothing but vocals right next to the mic. So yeah, I honestly am afraid that we're going to publish this now. I'm afraid that Denise is coming. She's coming after me.
I don't know if she's coming after us because we're dudes. We're dudes.
That's true. Yeah, that's the other thing, man. Denise is up to some bad stuff. She's up to, and how much money is she making? She's going to be making so much money. So yeah, I'm going to say, fuck this place. And maybe we need to call somebody, you know?
Yeah. Dude, seriously.
Yeah, did we just uncover something that's gonna
some kind of crime ring?
Yeah, fucking weird, dude.
You guys have seen Portlandia, right?
Yeah, for sure.
The women and women first characters.
Yes.
That is Denise's would fit in there.
To me, it seems like we're in Floorlandia here. This is like this is the perversion of women and women first, because Denise never purports any kind of equality or anything.
It's true.
She's just like, I'm here to make my money.
Right.
Let me get Virginia in here. Let me get another Denise. Let me get Mauve. You know, who's named
she's
Mauve?
She's very like Eric Cartman in her, like she's just exploiting people.
And again, there's just so the brief mention of Mandarin.
So Mandarin is a neighborhood in Jacksonville.
I thought Mandarin was the language.
Oh,
the language, training class in Mandarin. That makes a lot more sense.
That makes things a lot more.
What's the neighborhood Mandarin like? We have to get out of this thing. We're gonna. This is a rabbit hole. But what's Mandarin like?
It's just a bunch of little subdivisions off of one giant road through like swamps. All of North Florida. I mean, just fucking roads through swamps with like cookie cutter houses next to each other.
with some well lit streets when you get to the neighborhoods.
Dude, this is fucked up, dude. I was like, I bet you she makes the old people like be naked and stuff. So remember like that Denzel Washington movie where they can't steal, like
American Gangster. They can't pocket the heroin.
Right. So it's just a bunch of naked old people, and then she's like, "Oh, for the video, I throw like a cat bag on them, so it looks like they have clothes on."
Yeah,
like this old lady loves cats. She's making cat toys in her cat sweater in front of the cat garbage or whatever.
Cat garbage.
Yeah. There's a bunch of dead cats in there. Okay, well, we're just gonna say fuck this place.
I feel like we, in our spare time, might need to go back and look for hidden messages that maybe Virginia's sending through the video that Denise is recording. Maybe she's doing some hand gestures.
There could be some taps on the table.
Yeah.
Right. A little Morse code action. Yeah, I hear that. Well, for now, we'll just hope Virginia isn't dead. And we continue our podcast.
That's what she would want.
That's what Virginia
she wants to continue on.
That's what she was saying.
An old lady might be in trouble. But anyways.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
What's going on, guys?
Hey, did you know that you can text this podcast? The number is 470-223-5627. That's 470-223-5627. We take your side, by the way. Just that's an automatic position. If you text us, we're on your side.
Yeah, I don't give a damn about your boss. You think I'm gonna protect that guy? I hate that guy. I hate that guy. I got your back. We got your back here.
Absolutely. If we're like this is like a weirdo, like sleazy lawyer commercial. I mean, we're on your side to a point, you know.
Mm-hmm. I'm wearing a goofy suit right now.
I'm wearing a brown tie. Couldn't tell you why. If you need to talk shit about something, like we're your shit talking team. All you gotta do is text 470-223-5627. That's 470-223-5627. We're on your side.
Gonna pour one out for Virginia later, but for now, we press on. For old naked Virginia. Old dead in the cat garbage bag in the background, Virginia. Oh, it's so fucked up, man. We're definitely gonna be used as evidence in like a trial at a later date.
Yeah, they're gonna be like, and these web sleuths were the first people to uncover. Like, no, we weren't looking for this shit.
Yeah. Okay, Gracie.
Yes.
What's the first job you ever had?
Well, I guess what are we talking? In high school, I did like I did a couple things. I did like obviously the babysitting thing, like everyone does.
Yeah.
I was like a camp counselor, but it was really just glorified babysitting. I worked as a receptionist at a hair salon for a short period of time.
Okay.
And then, I mean, but that's, high school, so it doesn't really count. And then,
I mean, it kind of counts, but go on.
But then, I mean, I have kind of limited work history because then I went right into, I moved when I was 19 into the Olympic Training Center, and I just did that for until I was 26.
So yeah, you did in fact retire, right?
Yeah.
So let's double back on the camp counselor situation.
Okay.
Just because I'm from North Carolina, I'm familiar with the camp counselor deal, but what I'm not familiar with is being a camp counselor outside of a mountainous region, right?
Okay.
So was this like in Florida proper? What kind of camp was this?
Yes, it was. And it was not meant to be a religious camp. It was just meant to be like, a regular summer camp. But somehow it always turned religious. Like, I don't know why or how or what was going on. But
you mean like every day or like over time?
like every day there was some sort of but it's that area of Florida is super like Baptist and like evangelical.
Definitely.
I mean,
yeah,
any type of, those are kind of more, in my mind, kind of a little bit more extreme,
a little spooky sometimes. Yeah.
But there's all types, and I just think it's just people bringing their own stuff into it. So I think like some of the other camp counselors would like have us break for prayer and stuff.
Absolutely.
This isn't a part of the thing, but okay.
So was this like what science camp or what was the camp?
To be like just a day camp. Like we did like some sports. So obviously I was like I would organize a lot of the like games we would play. There was a lake, well, really a retention pond, which is no one should be going on, but it's Florida, so there's like no concept of life and death, and people are crazy. And there's like definitely alligators in the water somewhere, or like water moccasins, but yet we're still letting these children play in this fucking retention pond. That kind of stuff.
Okay. What was the like governing body of the camp? Was it like a YMCA thing, or was it like it wasn't a church, obviously, or was it you just didn't know? I
cannot even remember. I think it was just like a neighbor, like maybe it was
in charge.
Maybe it was a church, and I just was like,
you just didn't know.
I was like, oh, it's a job, I'll do it. Like, and not even realizing.
How did you make your way into it?
Somebody referred me, and I think I just wanted extra money. And
was it Jesus?
It was not.
Hey, Gracie, you're gonna love working at this Christian camp.
They were like,
oh,
she does sports. She can do the sports part of it.
Right. You're like, Gracie, you do sports. Come on, and then and you like, they were like, teach volleyball.
Yeah, that's the whole pitch. Gracie, you do sports. Come on, and then I was there.
Honestly, I think in a lot of towns that's the way it is. Yeah, yeah. Like, oh, you did painting once. Come on.
Yeah, well, then that was that's exactly it.
Yeah. Man, I love the idea that you don't know what.
I was so lost in high school in so many ways. I was just like, oh, going to track practice, sure. Oh, going over here, sure. Like,
oh, wear my Chemical Romance shirt? Nope.
No way.
That I knew it was like
crossing the line.
I'm not putting a target on my back, because the poor kids that were, I was like, I me too, dude. But like, I couldn't.
Yeah,
I didn't want to be bullied. I'd been bullied in middle school, and I was finally like coolish in high school because I was
in sports,
a jock, and
you do sports. Come on.
Yeah, you do sports. Come on, and take your skills, take your talents over to this camp. Which I'm like, okay, I don't know what y'all do, but I'll join.
So, and then they're like, let us pray immediately.
Like, oh fuck.
So, like, what were your responsibilities then? I mean, do you have a bunch of kids? Do you have like, was nobody interested in sports, or like, what?
When I tell you, it was like babysitting. Like I swear there were like no adults around. Yeah, it was just like we were in a cabin.
It's starting to sound a lot more like a church.
Teenager in a cabin, like a teenager. There are multiple little cabins, and then
cabins.
A teenager / counselor assigned to each cabin, and they're like, "Well, do what you want." And so they're like, try to do, from this time to do sports, and then the rest of the time do whatever you want to do. So we play like Uno and whatever.
Yeah. Were you alone with the children? You didn't have a co-counselor?
There was a co-counselor, but she would kind of go talk on her phone to her boyfriend.
Okay. She's like, I'm going to go pray on this for a minute.
Yeah.
And then just took a call. This does sound a lot like a church to me.
I think it was. It for sure was. Now that I'm thinking of it,
willing to leave children essentially on their own with other children. Basically, that's a very church, like, just like, you'll be fine. And the answer is like, that's true. Like, everybody was fine. Did anybody get significantly? Were there any incidents really?
No. Thankfully.
Yeah, they're just like, yeah, well, we'll play Uno sometimes. And so you didn't have to, it wasn't like you were gearing up for some basketball game or anything. It was just like, today we'll kick around a soccer ball. We'll play soccer today. Tomorrow we'll play badminton. It's pretty much whatever you show up and decide to do based off of the stuff that's in the equipment closet.
For sure. And I was a track athlete. So I didn't even really know the rules of soccer.
Yeah.
Just try to get the goal, the thing into the goal, and the shit and the hit the ball and whatever. Yeah. And so I would just make up my own games with them, and they usually found that fun, and it was fun for me to watch. So I'd be like, okay, we're gonna run from here to there, but this time run how like an elephant would run.
Yeah.
Or this time
just fuck around.
Yeah, exactly.
And you said, and no kids got eaten by alligators ever?
No, thank God.
Okay.
Well,
just want to ask.
People did get attacked by alligators in the surrounding areas, but none at that camp, thankfully.
Okay, good.
Well, they got the Lord on their side. Gators don't like, creepy Christians. They like people that are down on their luck. They don't want people that just had a Mondo juice or whatever. So like, you basically just, did you know anybody there? It kind of seems like this was a cult a little bit.
It could have been. I honestly, I didn't work there that long. So, and I was very much just like, I was nice to the other counselors, but I didn't really like build like.
You weren't super focused on.
Yeah. And also when the religion stuff is like kind of in the forefront, I'm like,
you're like,
that's really my thing.
Yeah. We just kicked a ball around. Do we have to?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought this was gonna be more foosball, less God. What I signed up for.
A little more foosball, a little less fire and brimstone.
Yeah,
I will say, Gracie, as an admittance of the weird ways that religion, I think, creeps into Southern living is. I don't know if I said this on the podcast, but I do think this is weird as shit. I did theater growing up and in high school. Before every show, fucking hate this so much. Before every show, we would do the entire cast and crew, like everybody who's in it would do the hokey pokey, right? As like a kind of like we're all doing something together, and it's a sort of an energizer. And then immediately after the hokey pokey, we would all hold hands and say the Lord's Prayer.
I'm not surprised at all.
Yeah,
dude, that was
correct.
like I didn't think that was gonna get any lamer. And then it turned into you did the Lord's Prayer. That's the only thing lamer you could have done than the hokey pokey.
Yeah. The hokey pokey's not a cool guy thing to do.
Yeah,
Why are we doing
that? Not a leather jacket situation,
right? Like you can't like.
I did it every year until I was a senior, and then I was like, "This is fucking bullshit. I will do the fucking hokey pokey, but I am not doing the Lord's fucking prayer with you."
You weren't religious yourself, right?
I actually was religious at the time, and I thought it was total fucking bullshit. That they, I mean, essentially, but made everybody do. There was no like.
There's no
There was no
about it.
Opt-out assumption that was even there. Like it was just literally like, I swear to fucking God, that's what it's all about. Our Father who had I mean, it was just
you go right into it.
Oh yeah, it was like yay, and then just as the hands came down, they locked. Like a real Jesus lock.
Wow.
Fingers to
Jesus
fingers.
Lock. Yeah. Another wrestling move. Yeah.
And then it was just like we just all said, I was like, I went to church every Sunday, even fucking Wednesdays, like I was kind of a pastor's kid basically growing up.
Wow.
Yeah. And so I just thought it was total horseshit. I was like, this is fucking bullshit that we have. And I think by the time I was a senior, like I was, good and stuff. And so people kind of respected me, and I was like, I'm not doing this. And like several other kids opted out of it because they felt really fucking weird, because that's like, you can't. But there was also, okay, we're going to stop Chase's train in a second. There was a movement right before I got into high school where the coaching staff at like football teams were praying before games with the team, which is like, again, super common in the Southeast in particular, I think. And you can't do that. I mean, like as an administrator, as like a person representative of the state of North Carolina, you can't do that, or the county or whatever. And so
that's a law.
It's a separation of church and states in the Constitution,
But it doesn't happen.
No, it sure doesn't. But yeah, there was special legislation like that got passed in North Carolina, and anyway, there was they were banned from it. So like the assumption was like the students would pick it up, and that's where that tradition came from. But like there were bumper stickers in and around Western North Carolina while I was in high school that were just that just said, "We still pray," and I knew that I was getting back. Like we would go visit
Do you think that they were talking about after the hokey pokey?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we still pray. And underneath it said, after the hokey pokey, the coolest song of all time. I will see you at the Sadie Hawkins dance.
Yeah, number one again on the top 40.
Yeah, Buncombe County. That's also, by the way, the school system that I went to. Yeah. Buncombe County, 100%. Yeah, it sounds like a Lil Abner cartoon. Buncombe County school system. Yeah. So anyway, I hear you on it, just sort of being like, how did I get here? Oh, I guess I was always here,
Yeah.
Right. Like Twilight Zone.
I don't think it was that's the thing is I don't think it was ever pitched to me as like, oh, it's for a religious camp.
Well, they don't
so
do
that's probably why I never like put
even the Christian ones. I would say especially the evangelical ones play it like it's not.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
Then you
because they
there.
know that they're kind of lame.
Yeah, because they know about to do the hokey fucking pokey, dude.
Yeah, if you have to lie to get people to come to your thing, what do you do?
Maybe you're just being weird, buddy, and maybe you don't have to do that.
Admit, info.
Yeah,
now, they're not gonna like.
No, you're lying.
So
yeah, they're not gonna like us at all. So we're gonna do popsicles.
We're gonna trick them.
Sports. We're gonna have a pond that's got no gators in it.
No gators.
It's the only pond without gators for like 150 miles.
150 feet at least.
150 minutes when we have a lifeguard. Yeah. So I do understand how you could sort of. You're already in that situation in so many other spheres, I mean, I remember like the first time I went to Young Life, which is like a major, like cool kid Christian organization in the South.
I had a ton of friends who went to that.
And I was pitched it and didn't even know it was a Christian thing until I got there. And I was like, well, this fucking sucks. Like, I already go to church all the time. Why the fuck do I got to hang out with these fucking losers? They were actually the cool kids, but I didn't like them. But yeah, trickery. So I understand how you got that situation.
I know we've been on the religion topic for a while, but I have a quick add-on to that. So I was once invited. I became friends when I first moved to Florida. I became friends with this girl, and she was religious, but I didn't know like that she was like evangelical Baptist, and she invited me to this after school thing, which was like a Young Life thing or whatever,
absolutely
youth group.
Yep.
So I go, I'm thinking I'm making friends. I'm like, I don't know what this is. I keep getting myself in these situations because like I just you
surely aren't reading the fine print.
You basically became an Olympian like that.
Yeah, exactly.
You're like, sure.
Come on, you do sports, right?
You do sports, come on.
Yeah, come on. All right.
Yeah, let's do it. Oh, it's skeleton.
Okay. You're gonna throw yourself head first down a mountain. You cool with that? Sure, I guess.
98 miles an hour. You cool with that? Absolutely.
So I went and long story short, she like took me into this room, introduced me to the leader. And then wrote my name. She had her name and then like a list. There was like a clipboard and she wrote my name on the list, and there was like a ton of other people in front of me. I'm like, what the hell is that? And like later I'm realizing that's whoever she's brought with her as her way of like
it's a point
getting
system.
Into to like getting into heaven because she's trying to convert more people. It's
it's like getting people to sign up for credit cards.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, they literally treat it like it's a multi-level marketing scheme. Wow. Where it's just like, we got to get people in the door, folks. That's what matters. Like whatever, like literally, at a certain level of like belief, it's just like whatever it takes. Like we just got to get them in here,
Yeah.
Or eternal pain is waiting for them upon their death.
Which it already is here, guys. We
already got a pretty good dose of it.
Okay, so we'll call that you browning in and out of your first couple of jobs.
I guess I am in a sandwich shop. I'm a receptionist now.
It's so
God,
it's
is
so
that
accurate.
you?
Yeah.
The only thing I knew I wanted to do was be an Olympian. So I was just like sports. Like track was my main focus, and everything else was just like, oh, what am I doing?
For sure.
Okay. Well, normally, just because I think we're gonna end up kind of on the same street, anyways, I would normally ask you what your worst job is you'd ever had. Do you want to just talk about being in the Olympics?
Yeah, because I would love to.
Because I would
love. No. So I have to stop you right there. This is super anticlimactic. I wasn't in the Olympics.
I'm sorry.
I knew the Olympic pursuit.
No,
I mean, I don't. What's whatever. This is your podcast.
But you're the guest.
I'll answer whatever question.
Just because what was your first job was kind of met with like I had kind of this and this, but mostly my mind was just I went from school right into training. So I imagine that's probably the same.
You don't really have a worse job.
Yeah, I get. Yeah, I mean, and every job I've worked since then, I've done like administrative assistant stuff, personal assistant stuff, but none of it's like.
So let's just talk about the Olympic journey then.
Yeah, okay. I would love to hear about that.
Because I'm curious.
I mean, it was my job, but it wasn't my job because I didn't get paid. But it's all I'm doing.
But you were like representing America.
Yeah, or planning on it, or wanting to.
Well, I was on Team USA. I just wasn't. I competed on the international level, but
but didn't do an Olympics. Because there's like world championships. There's other competitions that the U.S. enters into. Yeah.
There's like the Avengers and then the Olympics.
Yeah,
right above the Avengers.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and then there's also Justice League and
there's all the other teams.
The A team,
Titans are like really the A team. Yeah, Mr. T was on that one.
Yeah.
He was
your teammate.
Okay, so like straight up. I didn't know what skeleton was, right? Until you're the first. That's the first conversation I've ever had about the Olympic
skeleton. Yeah, for sure.
You two guys here today, and so how did you go from like track to like skeleton?
Now I do understand that there's probably some sprinting elements there, right?
Yes. Yeah.
It was at the bridge.
Yes, so I was a sprinter. To be honest, I was an average sprinter. I was an average. I was a great athlete, but my like work ethic was really what like set me apart. So like, I hate like those athletes that are like, I wasn't the best, but I worked the hardest. Like that was for sure me. But so I basically my senior year of high school, I was staying up super late. I couldn't sleep, and the Winter Olympics were on. It was in 2010. And I really never watched the Winter Olympics. The only thing I would watch was figure skating because I just loved it. And so I was watching figure skating and I was about to turn the TV off, and then immediately comes on skeleton. And the look you're giving right now, Chase, was the look I was like, what the fuck is this? Like something, it sounds corny, but something like moved inside me. I was like, I have to do this. I have to do this. And like never did a winter sport in my fucking life.
Yeah, you're in Florida.
Yeah. And before that, even like wherever I've never skied, never did
so what yes, you've not been around snow. What part of high school? Like junior, sophomore?
My senior year of high school.
Oh, senior year. I missed that.
So I went online and I was like,
how do skeleton?
Skeleton. And then it came up with, there was some information. It's like, oh, there's a training center in Lake Placid, New York. And then there's another track in Salt Lake City, in Park City, Utah. And so I was like, oh, those are two on opposite sides of where I am.
Yeah, and they're nowhere close to you.
Yeah, I'm never going to get a chance to do this. But I became obsessed and I couldn't stop thinking about it. So like the next day I had track practice and I told my coach, I was like, I saw the craziest sport. Do you know what this is? And I just couldn't stop talking about it and was looking up videos and all that all the time. And it's just truly so bizarre. Again, I'm going to say something super corny, but I think at the time I was really in tune to like the law of attraction. I read the book, The Secret. And I was like really into I was like, I'm going to attract the life I want, because I didn't want to go to college. The only reason I was going to go to college was to keep doing my sport, but I didn't know what the fuck else I wanted to do with my life. So I'm like, how am I supposed to pick like what I want to do for the rest of my life? I don't want to go to college next year. So I just kept doing this like exercise with myself, like it's gonna work out, it's something great's gonna come to me. And then my coach one day was like, you're not gonna believe this, but I got an email from the Olympic recruiting committee asking for athletes that want to try bobsled and skeleton. So you
summoned the skeletons.
I summoned the ghouls and the skeletons.
Nice.
And then I went to they were doing tryouts, combines, like the NFL combine. They were doing like a version of that in a ton of states, and they were doing one in Orlando, Florida. And so I was like, oh, I'm gonna go. And then the rest is history.
Well, the rest isn't history because we don't know it, but yes.
Oh, true.
but I understand for you. So yeah, you went and my guess is they know that you're not going to know shit about skeleton, right? I mean, as far as like that you've never done it before. No one who's coming to this combine is a skeleton pro. It's not like the NFL combine in that like these kids have been playing football for a while, right? And so they're like, okay, we're familiar with these specific stats as it relates to football, and holding footballs and throwing them, and yours is basically like, they're just like, hey, can you sprint? I mean, did they make you do skeleton, or was it more just like a skills sort of like, oh, you can run can run X in amount of time or whatever?
They're like, we've set up a giant slide. We're going to see how fast you can go and go down.
It's real hot. We're in Florida. So watch your tush.
They recruit people like speed and power athletes.
Yeah.
So a lot of at this combine, actually, I was like I was a pipsqueak. Like I had no business being there. I was tiny, like again, pretty average sprinter. I wasn't like being recruited all over the place to like go run
by colleges or anything.
Like I had a couple offers, but like they weren't massive D1 schools. And so, I'm really skinny at the time. I hardly have muscle. Like I've never lifted weights in my life. And there's like massive guys there and girls that are, a lot of them were there for bobsled because, everyone knows what bobsled, well, more people know what bobsled
of course.
is. And
AJ,
a lot of them were like ex-NFL athletes that were there.
Ex-NFL athletes?
Yeah, or like they like played one season and then like got injured or something.
Yeah, for sure.
They made it, but like didn't quite make it. So they're like looking for their next
thing.
Like the next,
And then I'm there like, what the fuck? I should not be here. But I run through it and I do the best I can. And I'm just like, my mom was like, she was proud of me, but a little condescending, like, they're
honey?
definitely not gonna call you, but you did good, sweetie. Like,
yeah. It's always good to try.
Yeah.
You were there, like,
they did call me, so I went. I think because I was young, and they were like, "Oh, we can kind of work
shape
with her."
you. Yeah.
So you, it's funny that like they were like, oh yeah, I was an ex NFL player and I got hurt, so now I'm doing this. Whatever. What about you? And you're just like, you heard the book The Secret? I just kind of thought it. Yeah.
I put my crystals in a line and I manifested.
Do you guys ever watch Oprah? It's 4:00 on weekdays.
Well, because I really can't stand people like that are like, I shouldn't say I can't stand them, but the crystal people are like, I made this. But there is for sure like I think people can tap into like.
Yeah, there's a power to it.
Something sometimes.
Yeah, it's like energies, or it's like the government listening to our phones, or whatever it is. But
well, and it could have been as simple as you got obsessed with it, and then you told your coach, and when the opportunity came, he knew to tell you, or they knew to tell you.
Can you imagine my coach actually reaced out to them, but he's made me think this whole time that I like magically made it come to me.
Right.
I'm a witch. I made this happen. And he's like, we'll never tell her. But
You've been brewing cauldrons, pulling skeletons out. Skeleton. But yeah. I mean, and on the other hand, like it was also the whatever governing, whoever these people were, like really good. In a sense, like marketing, like they were just reaching out to high school coaches and being like, we're looking for people, just FYI, come on by, so that those connections can be made. But yes, like for sure. You also like, if you never spoke about it, if you never showed your enthusiasm for it, then obviously then when that came up, it would never happen at all. He'd just be like, junk mail. Who gives a shit about a skeleton and the bobsled?
Right.
So they basically just saw some promise. But I mean, when did you know? Like the camp, by the end of the camp, or did you go home and
got
a letter?
They invite you up to teach you how to like push the sled.
Yeah.
And then depending on how you do on that.
Yeah. So like next level.
They invite you back.
Bit of a callback.
There's a callback, yes. And then that's when you go on ice, and they send you from like less than halfway down the track. So it's really slow, but to you for the first time, it feels like the fastest fucking thing you've ever done.
I'm sure. Yeah. Because it probably is the fastest fucking thing you've ever done. I mean, when are any of us 3 inches above ice traveling any faster than one, maybe when you're sledding as a kid, excuse me, Nick, 15 miles an hour max, like.
Yeah.
So it was the fastest you've ever gone, right?
It was. Yeah. And the coach, who was in charge of that camp was like, you guys will know when you get to the bottom, you'll pretty much know immediately if this is something you want to keep trying to do or not. And he was not lying, because it was like, I got down and I mean, obviously I stuck with it. So I was like, I was so excited and felt like so alive. And I was like, fuck yeah, I want to go faster. And then there were definitely people that were like throwing up already at the bottom. And like, just super
too much
scared by it, which is understandable completely.
Sure.
So then then they then they invite you to come again, and then they basically pick the development team, and then train until you make the actual team.
Which you eventually did. Wow. So we never really say this outright, but to me, part of like one of the theses of this podcast is about like sort of like dreams, and how do you compromise on dreams, and also how do you build at the same time, or not, So this is a dream, like this is I mean, in some cases, you are literally living your dream scenario, right? Because you're not going to college, you are a pro athlete. Once you are, forget about, later, which is sort of transitioning away from the dream, but like actually living the dream, I would guess it's not quite all it's cracked up to be, but it's also still awesome.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, so when I first got there, I was like the happiest I've ever been in my entire life, because all I ever wanted, my first goal in life was to be an Olympian. And I remember literally screaming at my mom when we had like these fights when we, you know, and my mom would get mad at me. I get mad at my mom, you know, and preteen. And I'd be like, I wish you would just, this is so dramatic, but like, I wish you just send me to like a Russian training camp. All I want to do is like train. Like, I don't want to do school and whatever.
Yeah.
And
it's a
I
decent
ended
ask.
up going to like a training camp, and I was like, this is all I ever wanted in life.
Yeah.
And so when I got there, I was like the happiest I've ever been, and I was surrounded by people that were like Olympic gold medalists, and I was becoming friends with them, and I were becoming my peers, and I was able to train with them and like try to like rise to where they, obviously I wasn't gonna rise to where they were, like, but you know what I'm saying? You're in a room with people you admire.
Oh man, once you're in the room, everything feels so different. I mean, whether you're in the room with the top tier or middle tier or even the lowest tier of that, it feels so like, you person, drink coffee, eat bagel. Me too, you know?
Yeah.
It just
it's like I never imagined myself being, I mean, I always wanted that, but when it's really happening, you're like, what the fuck am I doing next to this guy who's, you know, multiple Olympic gold medalist? And
absolutely,
you know, but it unfortunately over time, the kind of like veil comes down, and things change, and your reasons why you're doing things changes.
Yeah, that's a super important point.
Yeah, and unfortunately, you're faced with like, it's not really a secret anymore that the International Olympic Committee and the U.S. Olympic Committee can be very corrupt. And so when that is put in your face, and you're like, okay, do I want to be a part of this system? At what cost do I want to be an Olympian or not?
Okay.
You know?
I don't mean to cut you off, but I have two things. Chase, this is a great question. I'm so into this. I was going to ask you if skeleton makes water slides seem boring, like by comparison. The other thing is, I don't know of the corruption you're talking about. What I don't.
I mean, can I frame it, Gracie, and you give me a quick correction?
Sure.
Just to keep it short. Just think about how much stand-up blows. It's like that, right? In the sense that like, there's all these governing bodies, right? There's all these, like, there's a lot of gatekeeping, right? There's just a lot of like, and again, I don't know the details here, but I just know that like, after I have listened to some interviews with like pro athletes and athletes that are trying to get to the Olympics. And like, it's like, there's all these points, and like, there's lots of different ways to game it. Gracie, fill in the details.
Discretion. So there's that there. So me and one of my best friends, and he still is competing, we would always talk about it, and we'd be like, what the fuck is, like, what is going on? Like, we feel like we're in the fucking Stanford prison experiment.
Yeah.
Like, you feel like it gets to, and this is not, we're talking about the dark side, and I'm still honestly sorting through a lot of it. Like, not at all, because it was such a massive part of my life and my identity, and like what I had envisioned for my life. And then one day I was like, wait, no, I can't do this anymore. And I'm still trying to like unravel everything and make sense of it.
Yeah, you're disillusioned.
Yeah, and like be very deliberate with like my blaming and my anger, or like the good. But it was also some of the best. It was the best time of my life, but it was also a very painful, hard time of my life.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
especially to let go of it. I mean, you know, to like kind of find the strength to let go of it.
Like I didn't, like, it's like leaving a relationship that you still love the person, but you know it's not going to work.
Yeah.
And that's how I felt leaving. And you know, like it's basically when I was talking about with the Stanford prison experiment, is like, it's not an equal playing field, unfortunately. So like there's, with the coaching staff, I mean, helping certain athletes and not helping others, giving certain equipment to some and not the same to others. You're not lifting everyone up equally for the betterment of the team. And then there's and that in turn pits athletes against each other,
because it's scarce resources. And oftentimes my guess is that's intentional. Even if they have the resources, they intentionally game people against each other because they want to get the quote unquote best out of you, which is not necessarily how like teams have to work.
Absolutely. And I tried to figure it out for so long. Like, is this are they really this like cruel, or are they just like what are they just like not aware of what they're, I could never figure it out. And but the point is I couldn't do it anymore, and I couldn't be a part of something that operated that way. And I didn't want to give another 4 years of my life to potentially not do everything I can and then be like in a position to earn an Olympic spot, but then be like, no, we're not picking you, we're picking this other person because of whatever their criteria is that year.
Yeah. Right.
Or their decision.
Yeah.
Did you, go ahead.
You go ahead, Nick. I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying, did you meet a lot of weirdos?
What is weirdo?
What is the mindset of generally like you're hanging out with other people who've like found skeleton? This like,
we're fucking weird as shit. The weirdest people you'll ever meet.
Yeah.
But
nice.
I think it's just people who are escaping. Well, definitely have to have a few screws loose if you want to like throw yourself down the mountain.
98 miles an hour, yeah.
Where are the skeletons coming from? Like, I mean,
how many are they throwing in your way? In the way.
Like, I just mean like, where are you meeting? Is everyone else from a cold place? Like, are you the outlier or like?
It's kind of it's really. It really varies. Like it's just people, but the one common thing is that it's usually people from a track and field background or like a soccer background, because they're like, that's still sprinting,
lower body stuff.
Yeah,
you like don't got ex-baseball players coming in.
Yeah, not really, but and then for like bobsled is a lot of also track and field, but football, and then there's some volleyball in there too. It's just as long as you're strong and fast, and then bobsled you have to be bigger.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
Whoa.
So it's kind of all over. It's people are, my teammates are from all over the place.
Gotcha.
Okay. So we always close the podcast with 3 questions. They're going to shift a little bit. Question number 1 is, for this worst job or the job we're talking about now, which is the skeleton thing, is when were you done and how did you quit? And I know that that's kind of like something you're still sort of processing. So I guess the question is really more like, it is more like, I guess, like, when did you see that it was time to go? Like, when was it like, was there a time, or was it building over time? When did you acknowledge to yourself that, like, you know what, this isn't really what I want to be anymore?
It's a deep question.
Yeah, I know.
It definitely was building over time. My mental health definitely suffered substantially.
Yeah.
And
you just started noticing stuff.
Yeah. And you just like, this is not something I can compromise on anymore, because I'm deeply unwell. And and this is like, for what? Like, even if I go to the Olympics, okay. Yes, I'm realizing a lifelong dream, but I'm also like killing myself in the process, which I'm willing to kill my body, but like myself, I have to live with forever. And
correct. Yeah, it's your body. You're gonna have it the rest of your life. The Olympic moment could be.
You kind of hit your head a lot, so it's like I didn't want to like have long-term effects with that.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah,
super fair.
But shit, what was the question?
Just like, when did you make a decision for yourself that was like, you know what, I am gonna like, this is my decision, and I am gonna do that at some point, whether you did it right after that or not.
Well, I had to also like really separate my identity I had to be like, my whole worth does not lie in that I'm a good skeleton athlete and like am training for the Olympics and I'm on the US team. Like, I can't just let that be my whole worth anymore. And I also had, since I was little, I did theater too. And I always loved performing. I love making people laugh. And I was like, this is a whole other aspect of me that's dying. And I don't want that to happen, because it's really, that's more who I am, like, than just a machine that goes through the motions of like, if you're not first, you're last kind of thing. Creative part of me. So I really wanted to like get back to that and pursue that, which is what I'm doing now. But it was just like, it was really a series of events that happened where I was like, enough is enough. And I just have to go.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Enough is enough. You just draw a line. You're like, I just don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to do me being this anymore. Because it's only gonna get worse. Okay, question number 2. What's one good thing you would say you took from that experience?
It taught me that I really am not afraid of anything. Not like I was kind of a scaredy cat, like growing up. Like I was always a tomboy, whatever, you know. For a girl, I was, which I hate that that's a thing. It's like let girls be and boys be whatever they want to be. But
for sure,
I was typically always hanging out with like boys and roughing around and whatever. But I wasn't like an adrenaline junkie by any means. And like, I had like a lot of anxiety. So like, I'd always think worst case scenarios and like, what if we crash the car right now? And then, you know, like I just learned, I realized I was capable of throwing myself off a mountain or sprinting off a mountain with no brakes and just being like, we'll figure it out. Like trusting yourself. And it really just taught, that really like transformed me as a person. To where I just wasn't, and I also it taught me a lot about myself, and I also made really beautiful friendships and relationships that because you bond with your teammates in like such a deep way, because you're like in the grind together every single day, you live together, you're going through hardships, you're sharing successes. So I think those are the two good best types.
2 pretty great parts. And last question, not about that situation, is we've had a pandemic. It's doing what it's doing. You know, some people have had kind of like realignments, you know, during the pandemic, like, I you know, any like new thoughts or new observations since that started? Just also general, how you doing? That's kind of the
the pandemic was for sure rough for me.
Yeah.
How was it for you guys?
It wasn't good. It was not good. No.
It was not good.
Dude, I tore my Achilles. It sucked.
Yeah.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, dude, I tore my Achilles like halfway through the pandemic. It was the worst. I was like, you're right. We're not going outside anymore.
That is that's a really, really rough like injury. I'm sorry you went through that.
Oh yeah, no, it's okay. Me and Kobe. Like, it's all these like badasses that also did it, you know. Well, my surgeon told me it's like he was like, it's really athletic people and really fat people that do this. So
you're like, I'm gonna pick one of those categories.
Yeah, definitely not. Okay. So so but it was, this is not my question answer, but yes, it was sucked. It sucked.
I mean, I guess I am on but I feel like I've talked so much, and I usually like to ask the question.
I'll answer your question too. I'll answer your question too, Gracie. Yeah, it was not good. I got COVID and I was fine with it, but had like this sort of persistent knee injury afterwards, because I ride bikes and I rode my bike too hard. Shouldn't have gone too hard. So I lost a major outlet for sure. But that being said, like I do think for me the stop was like helpful. Like it was genuinely helpful to just fucking stop doing shit. And I do think that it has a realign my priorities, as far as like, I'm just like, oh man. And I'm still working on this so fucking hard right now, but I'm just really trying to work with like gratitude. Like I am so ungrateful for so many things that I like have, like that are just mine, you know? And so I think the pandemic really helped kickstart the like grateful train of just like, okay, well, all the grandma stuff, that people, speaking of old people, that aren't trapped by entrepreneurs, the old people shit of just like, well, at least we're all healthy, and like, it's like, maybe I should like dial back and like really concentrate on some of that shit, like hard. So I think for me that there's for sure been like a realignment of that.
I 100% relate to that. I experienced 2 family deaths during the pandemic, and it was horrible, and they were very unexpected. So I for sure I've had friends pass away unexpectedly too, but I think it was just like really drove home the thing of like the lesson of your life can end at any minute. And like, as I've struggled with depression, anxiety, like most of my life. And I'm like, oh, fuck, another day, you know, like I sometimes wake up like that. And I'll make jokes about like, you know, dark jokes.
Oh yeah. Welcome to Fuck This Place podcast. Yeah.
Yeah. And you do that to cope with life. And also it's funny but
hilarious.
But making sure hilarious for sure. But then making sure like I really don't believe that and being like, no, I'm so lucky to be alive. Yeah. Like I am. Like even on my shittiest day, I rather be alive than anything. You know,
we get to stay in the game.
So gratitude is big for me too, because you just think like, what the fuck do I have to be grateful for when it's like you couldn't be? That's just so shitty.
Fucking things. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so shitty because you just lose perspective.
Yep. Yes.
And so that's what I would say.
Great. Well, Gracie, where can people find you on the internet if you'd like to be found?
My Instagram is @it's Gracie Madrid. And that's kind of the only social media I use.
That's fair. The link will be in the show notes.
I have Facebook by my other name, but no one uses it. I when I was an athlete, I was Gracie Clapp Taylor. I went by my two dad's names, but then I was like, why do I have two men's names that attached to me that I don't really have anything to do with? So I'm just gonna go by my own.
Yeah, fuck them. Yeah.
I'm gonna go by my own name, which is my family name, which is my mom's side of the family, which is what I'm closest to. So
yeah, makes sense. Well, Gracie, thank you so much for joining, and thanks for like, I know that we kind of poked around like a tough topic, so thank you for like, poking around.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate it.
Of course.
And fuck this place.
Fuck this place.
Rate the podcast, leave a review, 5 stars, 4 stars. You can give less stars, but don't do that. I mean, you can, but just text us, it's 470-223-5627. That's 470-223-5627. You can just let it out, Get mean. We're here for you. Okay, that's it. Bye for now. Fuck this.